Hi Last Watchers, I'm back in the UK and to the normality of everyday life. Dog walking, child minding, household chores and of course, reviewing watches. The watches have been piling up in my absence and it's fair to say I have a bit of a backlog. My mission over the coming weeks is to catch up without cutting corners. The first watch on the review table is the A11 Vince Speranza Edition from the Praesidus watch company. Praesidus are another relatively new brand based in Chicago, Illinois, USA. They describe themselves as a veteran-driven watch brand that aim to recreate the timepieces worn by World War II veterans, with the goal of bringing their stories of bravery and patriotism to a new generation. The brand's first collaboration in 2019 was with Tom Rice, who served as a platoon sergeant and commanded 12 paratroopers during Operation Overlord in Normandy. Their second collaboration, as the name would suggest, is with Private First Class Vince Speranza, who served as a machine gunner during the Battle of the Bulge. We can talk more about Vince's exploits later in the review. Before I continue, I should mention that the Speranza is a review piece that may show some signs of wear. I have it on a short-term loan for the duration of my review before sending it on to the next reviewer. I'm not being paid for this review, but if I pull my finger out, I may have an affiliate link to add to the video description below. That will earn a small commission for the channel. Admin done. Now let's have a closer look at the watch. It is a case diameter of 37.7mm. We can round that up to 38. A total thickness of 12.7mm. A lug to lug of 45.1mm. And a lug width of 19.8mm. Pretty much 20. Including its fitted leather strap, it weighs in at a mere 60.81 grams, a considerable lightweight. Now before you discount the A11's dimensions as being a bit small for your wrist, you'll be pleased to hear that it's also available at a more modern size of 42mm. It should be noted that the original A11 designation was a military specification and a production standard adhered to by various watch manufacturers during World War II. For watches supplied to the Allied forces. The A11 variants were produced by Elgin, Bulliver, Waltham and Hamilton during 1940 right the way through to 1949, with minor if not negligible differences in their design and a diameter ranging between 32 and 36mm. Even this 38mm would be considered large compared to the original A11. Ignoring its size, the 316L all stainless steel case of the Speranza appears to be a faithful reproduction of the original A11. Its clever case design does away with the need for a bezel. Look closely at the strong defining contour that marks the transition from the mid-case to the purported bezel area, and you will see that they are one and the same. A robust design that helps retain the crystal with minimal parts. The case is almost entirely sandblasted with the finest grade finish. The only exception is the modest toned down drill lugs, which share the same sandblast profile but have a contrasting polished face. There's a good oversized free moving crown with an easy to grip coin edge and an unsigned polished rim. The A11 has kept the same double-domed crystal design of the original World War II watches, with a subtle upgrade from acrylic to sapphire. It's a nice piece of glass that brings some vintage character to a modern watch. Below the sapphire glass is a very clean black dial with a white printed train track chapter ring, 10-minute markers and bold Arabics 1 through to 12 for the hour markers. There's nothing else on the dial, no branding, no specs, not even a build location, and the printing, even under macro, is close to flawless. The cathedral-style handset have a fine hammerite-like finish and are filled with a warm 4 patina superluminova. The needle-thin seconds hand with counterbalanced lollipop finishes what I think is a super legible dial. Turn the lights out and now you see that the white Arabics also glow with superluminova. It's fair to say that they have a slight edge over the lesser glow from the mock patina of the handset. Forget the simplicity of the case and dial, the rear of the watch has detail in abundance. The caseback has a polished coin edge perimeter, sandblasted inner edge, and a radial brushed decagon, within which we find the engraved details of the watch and the exploits of its namesake. There's the Praesidus branding and the A11 Type 2 designation. Then a full-blown tribute to our veteran Vincent J Speranza, machine gunner at Bastogne, with the 101st Airborne Division during the Battle of the Bulge during the winter of 1944 into 1945. Small but tenuous link here. I had the privilege of spending a cold night on patrol with members of the 101 Airborne Division some 21 years ago in the mountains of Kosovo, a story for another time. The caseback also sports a rather unmissable representation of an M1919 Browning 30 caliber bullet, a brass and gold-plated stoic reminder of Vince's role during World War II. If you want to learn more about Vince Speranza's Call of Duty and his 144 days in combat, then you can read his book, Nuts, a 101st Airborne Division gunner at Bastogne. Although the bullet protrudes a few millimeters from the case, it doesn't affect the wearability of the watch, not even in the slightest. If you have any concerns with regards to comfort, then you could order the case back with a flush-fitting bullet, but where's the fun in that? Below this lethal round is a disclaimer that the watch is assembled in the USA with imported parts, which leads us neatly onto the caliber that powers this timepiece. The Speranza is available with a choice of two movements, a Swiss-made STP 111, or in this particular case, no pun intended, the Seiko NH35. The NH35 is an automatic movement with 24 joules that hacks and handwinds. It has a power reserve of around 41 hours and a beat rate of 21,600 an hour, or 6 ticks per second. It's rated for accuracy between -20 and +40 seconds per day. This movement is running at +10 seconds per day. There is also a hidden date complication, which leads to a forgivable ghost position on the crown. The A11 came fitted with a custom designed black leather strap embossed with the M1919 barrel, a rather rudimentary sandblasted tang and buckle, which I suspect is historically correct, and a couple of leather keepers. The strap sits noticeably far from the case, no doubt due to the placement of the drill lug holes, which leave plenty of space for a NATO strap, if that's your style. Uniquely, Praesidus have taken the effort to emboss the rear of the straps, one side with Vince's story, and the other side with an M1919 machine gun. I would make a suggestion here that they rotate the M1919 180 degrees, as it currently appears to be upside down when you pan from one strap to the other. The Speranza also comes with a leather strap in the shape of an M1919 machine gun barrel, which I would love to show you, but Praesidus Dispatch sent out two versions of the same standard leather strap. A photo will have to suffice. And if two leather straps aren't enough, I understand the Speranza will also ship with a green canvas strap. The 38mm A11 looks pretty sharp on my 7-inch wrist. The 42mm may have been a better fit. Somewhere in the middle would have been perfect. Its striking, bold, monochromatic dial with those aged hands make this a no-nonsense field watch with fantastic legibility. Something I almost missed is that the Speranza is water resistant to 100 metres, so it should easily survive the Scottish weather, or even some light swimming. The strap is a bit stiff and definitely needs to be worn in. You might agree that it's a bit gimmicky, possibly surplus to requirements, but it aids as an introduction for the story hidden on the caseback. If you're not a fan, swapping it out will take a matter of seconds, courtesy of the quick release spring bars. Overall, it's a decent reinterpretation that I would be quite happy to keep in my collection if it hadn't been a watch on tour. The Praesidus A11 Type 2 Vince Speranza Edition has just closed on Kickstarter for deliveries in October. Prices started at $299, €271 or around £227 for the NH35 variant. The Swiss STP 111 version was $449, €406 or £340. UK buyers would need to add VAT and import costs. though I'm guessing most buyers will be stateside as the A11 has a strong patriotic vibe. Unlike the cardboard box that my review copy arrived in, the Kickstarter buyers will receive their A11 in a limited edition humidor wooden box, featuring an illustration of the M1919 machine gun and signed with Vince's name. As well as the extra straps, you'll get a dog tag style warranty card and a 2-year guarantee. Praesidus have told me that they plan to launch on the Indiegogo website in a couple of weeks. I'll add a link to their website in the video description below and update you with an Indiegogo link when it goes live. Feel free to share your thoughts on the A11. Did Praesidus do a good job with their homage? Would you consider picking one up? Or better still, do you already have a working original in your collection? If you enjoyed today's review, then please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.